last week I made the worst mistake of my entire life. I downloaded War Thunder. This wasn't a dramatic, soul-searching decision. I didn't hesitate, I didn't reflect, I didn't ask myself important questions like, do I have mental stability for this?
There's a heavy behind me.
What? Oh yeah.
I just saw a cool plane, a massive explosion, and a very friendly play for free button, and my brain immediately shut off. All I wanted was something simple. Fly a plane, shoot down a few random guys, crash horribly and love it off, and maybe just unlock some new vehicles. Just normal video game activities that do not require a degree in engineering or security clearance. And for the few hours, War Thunder absolutely delivers. The game feels incredible. Engines roar, cannons shake the screen, tracers light up the sky, and everything feels powerful and responsive. You shoot something, it explodes in a very satisfying way, and your brain releases just enough dopamine to convince you that this was a good idea. You start thinking things like, whoa, this game is actually really well made, and why don't more people talk about how fun this is? And that's how it gets you. Because eventually reality sets in. I am not good at this game. I don't know why my plane stalls when I pull up slightly too hard. I don't know why my tank explodes instantly while the enemy seems to absorb shells like they are immune to physics. I don't know why someone with a username that looks like a license plate can spot me from across the map while I'm still trying to figure out which button turns on to binoculars. So I did what any reasonable, rational human would do. I decided I just needed some help. Not to become a god-tier player, not to dominate leaderboards, I just wanted to understand what I was doing wrong. A beginner guide, 5 minutes, 10 maybe, something friendly, something reassuring. So I went online, and instead of a tutorial, I fell into a black hole. A black hole made of negative Steam reviews. Let me illustrate this. This gentleman here with 2,700 hours on record says, this game has objectively made me a worse person. Reddit essays, forum threads that started in 2012 and never ended. People screaming about balance changes like they were personal attacks, and for a reason that still confuses me, leaked military documents. And no, I'm not joking, actual real military documents. That's when it just clicked. This isn't just a video game community. This is a place where arguments don't end, they escalate. Where people don't debate what's fun, they debate what's correct. Where losing an argument online is apparently worse than violating national security laws. This is the War Thunder community. The only gaming community on earth that somehow manages to even be more obsessive, more intense, and more emotionally invested than League of Legends.
Oh my god! No!
Now, every multiplayer game eventually divides its community. It's unavoidable, but War Thunder didn't just divide its player, it entrenched them. Very early on, the game asks you a deceptively simple question: arcade or realistic? Arcade battles are faster, louder, and far more forgiving. You get lead indicators that tell you exactly where to shoot. Your vehicle performs better than it realistically should, and the pace is constant, the feedback is immediate, and even when you die, you usually understand why. But realistic battles remove almost all of that comfort. No lead indicators, limited camera views, vehicles behave much closer to how they would in real life, which means every mistake is punished instantly and without mercy. If you overextend, you die. If you misjudge a turn, you die. If you blink at the wrong moment, you die. Now, in a normal community, this would simply be a preference. Some players want a fast-paced action and others just want some immersion. Everyone would nod politely and move on. But this is War Thunder. Here, arcade players are seen as casuals who aren't playing the game properly. People who want bright colors, constant action, and help from the game itself. people who, according to some foreign past, don't care about history at all. Realistic players, on the other hand, are viewed as elitist, people who treat every match like military simulations. People who say things like situational awareness and historical performance unironically and mean it. Thing is that these two groups do not coexist peacefully. Arcade players think realistic players are joyless gatekeepers who want everyone else to suffer. Realistic players think arcade players are just ruining the integrity of the game. And these arguments just never end. They don't evolve, they don't reach conclusions, they just repeat endlessly like a tank stuck on a rock while two teammates argue in chat about whose fault it is. But balancing War Thunder is not a mechanic, it's a belief system. Every update introduces new vehicles, adjusts old ones, and accidentally ruins someone's entire week. A tank might reload slightly slower, a plane climb slightly faster, a shell behave just a little bit different, and immediately the community erupts. Nobody ever believes they lost because they made a mistake. Losses are never personal, they are systematic, they are evidence, prove that hygiene is biased against your favorite nation. If you play Germany and lose, it's because German vehicles are secretly nerfed. If you play America and lose, it's because Gaijin hates NATO. If you play Russia and lose, it's because Gaijin pretends to favor Russia as a psychological warfare. Every possible angle is covered. Players argue about armor thickness, penetration values, shell normalization, engine horsepowers, climb rates, and obscure historical testing data with the seriousness of a courtroom trial. Sources are demanded, charts are posed, inside debates hinge on decimal points. And all of this happens while half the player base is being destroyed by someone hiding in a bush who hasn't moved in 10 minutes. To the War Thunder community, balance isn't about fun, it's just about justice. But eventually, every War Thunder player learns about the economy. This is the system that determines how fast you progress, how much currency you earn, and how much suffering is required to unlock the vehicle you actually want to play. And when Gaijin touches the economy, the community reacts instantly. Steam reviews collapse overnight, Reddit fills with essays, longtime players write emotional manifestos explaining exactly how the game has betrayed them after thousands of hours. The reviews are fascinating. They're written by people who clearly love the game but no longer trust it. People who say things like, I have 4,000 hours and I can recommend this, without a hint of irony. Now, review bombing isn't chaos, it's something organized and strategic. It's practically a community feature at this point. And now, my absolutely favorite part of this community. The whole reason for this video. The classified documents. The moment where War Thunder stopped being just a game and started becoming a recurring headline. The documents. At some point deep within the War Thunder community, a line was crossed. Not slowly, no accidentally. Someone sprinted past at a full speed while holding a stack of papers they were absolutely not supposed to have. Multiple times over the years, players have attempted to prove they were right by posting restricted or outright classified military manuals on official forums. Not fan-made diagrams, not educated guesses, actual technical documents. Why did this happen? Because someone said a tank was modeled incorrectly. That's it. That's the reason. A normal person, when told they are wrong on the internet, will either argue, leave, or quietly rethink their position at 3 in the morning. A War Thunder player will respond by saying no, and then attempt to upload a government document. And the wildest part is how casually it happens. Someone will be mid-argument about armor values or engine performance, and then suddenly a moderator has to jump in and say something along the lines of, please do not post classified military information. That is not a sentence that should ever exist in a video game forum. Gaijin has repeatedly very clearly told players to stop doing this. Not to stop arguing, that would be impossible, but to stop backing up their argument with materials that could get someone in serious legal trouble. And yet, it keeps happening. Not once, not twice, but every month. Because I guess that in War Thunder community, being correct is not a preference, it is a moral obligation. At some point, realism stopped being about immersion and started being about ego. Winning the argument became more important than common sense, legality, or basic self-preservation. War Thunder players do not lose arguments, they just escalate them. And after all this, the arguments, the conspiracies, the review bombs, the spreadsheets, and the occasional violation of international law, War Thunder is still here. Which, to be fair, is honestly impressive, because on paper this game should have collapsed under the weight of its own community years ago. Any other game with this level of intensity, frustration, and controversy would have burned out completely, but War Thunder didn't. Because beneath the noise, there is something genuinely special here. A game that lets you interact with military vehicles in a level of detail that almost no other game ever attempts. A game that rewards learning, patience, and yes, obsession. The community isn't insane because they don't care. They are insane because they care way too much.
Come on! Come on!
They care about history, they care about accuracy, and they care about numbers, documents, and details that most players would never notice. Sometimes that passion creates incredible guides, deep analysis, and genuinely impressive knowledge sharing. And sometimes it creates a forum thread that needs to be locked because someone uploads something they definitely shouldn't have. That's the duality of War Thunder. So yes, I downloaded War Thunder last week. I came in wanting a simple playing game, something casual and something relaxing. Instead, I found a community locked in a permanent state of intellectual warfare, where losing an argument is worse than losing a match and realism is treated like a sacred text. I don't know how long I will survive here, but for now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying a lot this game. So thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you soon, random internet brother.